China. It's an incredible country and culture with 5,000 years of history and 5,000 years worth of secrets to discover. Now, for the first time ever, I
am not British. I know, everybody watching is like, thank God. Anyways, guys, we're gonna check out some interesting and obscure, possibly haunted locations in Hong Kong, one of the world's greatest cities today. And we're gonna start off with a meal at one of its most famous low-key eating locations, Cam's Roasted Goose. I've never had goose before, so I guess it's time to let loose and goose my caboose. Wait, pause. I got it to go because we've got places to be tonight, but I mean, is there anything better than a goose and a Diet Coke and not a bowl, but I guess, I failed trigonometry. Looking you in the face and being ready to be eaten? That's right, I got half a goose. So I guess you could say, I'm all in on the goose. And there's no excuse.
The first part of our trip will lead us on a lone midnight stroll up the Devil's Peak Mountain. This forested area lies on the outskirts of the city and contains abandoned military fortresses used by the Allies during World War II in the pivotal Battle of Hong Kong. When I arrived, I wasn't exactly sure how to get up the mountain, so I tried climbing what looked like a nearby auxiliary ladder. However, 3/4 of the way up, I realized that this was probably not sane or legal.
I don't want to look. This is a bad time to mention this, but I'm like really afraid of heights.
I eventually found a crooked step path that did lead me to the proper trail to reach the ruins.
Well, indeed, here we are. That is the craziest snail I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah, this area is really tropical, which is nice. I've not seen something like this before in my urban explorations. But we are officially on Devil's Peak Mountain. These snails are out of this world. Oh. I'm 27 years old. I should be at a bar getting laid right now, but I'm on a fucking haunted mountain looking at snails, waiting to find entry to an abandoned military base. Lovely. Alrighty. So here we are. Yeah, I think this is one of the official military fortresses that has since been clearly abandoned and overgrown. These forts were used by Chinese and Indian soldiers under the employ of the British Empire, as well as British Imperial soldiers themselves. And they were a key part of the strategy against the Japanese Imperial armies during the Battle of Hong Kong in World War II. Oh, I thought those were eggs. They're just berries. One last snail before we say goodbye to the Devil's Peak for good. I mean, that is just the king of snails if I've ever seen him. So sexy. I'm back at my hotel now, but I just wanted to capture this today because, speaking of creepy, I have this Chinese phone that like cycles through different screensavers. So you turn it on, it's like one of 4 or 5 screensavers that it's randomly selected per day. And look at this. Look what they've given me today. Not that. Not her. I don't mind her. She can actually stay for quite a while. But look at this next one. Bro, imagine if someone walks up to you in public and asks for you to check the time, and you pull out your phone and they see that this is your phone background. How do you explain that to someone? Good morning, guys. We're on our second and final day, and I just have to say I'm having some like post-hangover clarity. Climbing up that ladder was probably the stupidest thing I've ever done in my entire life. Or at least in the top 5 stupidest things I've ever done in my entire life, so definitely don't do that at home. But anyways, about to get our first meal of the day. We've got 2 exciting spots to check out today. And as for the meal, well, I guess you can call me Zeus, because I'm about to let loose on some more goose. This goose is obtuse.
The best way to describe the reputation of Hong Kong's Chungking mansions is to compare it to Zozo from Final Fantasy VI. It was actually a local in mainland China who referred me to the place, tucked away in a massive cluttered apartment complex at the heart of the city. For some, it's a hot spot for shady businesses with a past colored by crime, but for others, it's a safe haven for outsiders that offers a multitude of dishes and restaurants from different global cultures.
This is actually good because I'm trying to find a flashlight for our final spot tonight, so let's see. We've got a little bit of a quest to find that here. There are plenty of businesses.
With a flashlight in hand for our final destination, I exited back through the alleyway that I had entered from.
So, this place has so many awards. I don't think I've ever seen a cookie shop with such extravagant awards. I mean, I don't even know if I've ever walked into a restaurant with these kinds of awards. I guess we're definitely gonna have to try out one of these cookies. 您好，那个鸭翅我可以吃吗？这个鸭翅。Sadly, I wasn't able to get the swan, but I did end up getting a hazelnut cookie. But yeah, as far as the mansions go, I'm gonna say the interior does look like Zozo, but the people were very nice. So any shady reputation it has, I think, is unearned in the modern day. Although I do hear that back in the day, crime was more rampant there. Anyways, we did end up getting the flashlight, which is great. We're gonna need a spare for our last stop today, which is definitely the most cursed and haunted place we're gonna see.
The Tat Tak School is known as China's most haunted school, and there's a lot of lore surrounding it that may or may not be true. The path to the building is covered with real graves, and some claim that it's also host to burial sites for the victims of British and Japanese invasions of Hong Kong. The most famous legend surrounds a former headmistress of the school who took her own life while wearing a red dress on the campus after being assaulted. What is verified, though, is that in 2011, a group of 12 schoolgirls dared each other to enter the school grounds and claimed to have seen the ghost of the headmistress haunting them, with a number of them later being admitted to a hospital due to fainting and experiencing psychiatric distress. For the most haunted school in the world's second most populous country, there's sure to be plenty of other local myths and legends that I'm not privy to, but let's take a look at the place for ourselves. I fear I'm not mogging as hard as I was at the beginning of the video because I did let loose on another goose before I came here. Anyways, we're headed towards Tat Tak now, and we'll see how far we can make it. I think that you need a license to officially explore the school, but we'll see if there's any way around that. I'm also realizing I totally overblew the time prediction, and we're not even gonna need the flashlight because it's still quite light out. Really should check the temperature and weather. As I walked onto the road that leads you up to the school, I could see its decrepit figure peeking out from behind the fence that sought to block us from entering. However, I luckily was able to find a small path that led us all the way up to the gates of the school, and, true to legend, the path was dotted with several graves.
So yeah, this is the Tat Tak School. the most infamous haunted school in all of China. We're not going to be able to get in.
Alright, guys. Well, I just had my fourth goose, so I'm not even gonna try anymore. But, anyways, it sounded kind of like security was coming in that last clip, and, as everybody knows, this country is not the place to mess around with the law. So, we respected the law and just saw what we could see on this trip. But, since Tot Talk wasn't really as long as I'd hoped it was gonna be, I'll make you a deal. I'm gonna be alive on this planet for hopefully at least 100 more years, so if there's any creepy urban exploration site or anything like that, specifically around China, because that's where I am right now, just drop it in the comments. I'll go. Fuck it. Oh yeah, and as far as my phone background is concerned, that's much better.